But mostly I really want to say is I want to really get on my knees and thank you from the bottom of our hearts for opening yourself up to the public, to your old fans and new fans with these new DVDs coming out, for answering and making yourself available, where nowadays these so-called actors or actresses don't want to deal with or time with the general public. And to me, it's the fans that make you. Because if you don't have a fan, they're not going to watch you. They're not going to see your movies, and they're not going to watch your television program.
That's
and
true.
I just want to know how you feel about the actors and actresses today, where they demand so much money, $1 million or $20 million for a movie, and then when you see their movie, it's really not worth the money that you went to see.
Well,
how you feel about it?
Well, I'm sure that all of them, whether they know it or not, are trying to do the best they can and make the best films they can, because that is their bread and butter, their life's work, and their passion and their dedication. If they fail, if they don't do it, so if it's not palatable or pleasant to the audience, or to any particular segment of the audience, or even any individual member of the audience, then they got caught acting. They got caught at it. People know that they're not really who they are. They appear to be who they be the actor playing the role, and that's something that everybody strives their best to avoid. Any actor who's ever worked at all in anything is trying not to get caught at the profession of acting. And if they're successful, they don't get caught, or at least don't get caught very often. Everybody gets caught sooner or later. But all I can say is that today's actors and actresses are trying just desperately to make the thing work properly. And sometimes they're successful and sometimes they're not. But that's nothing new. That's been going on for a long time. Incidentally, I'd like to make a comment. They take a long time to make television shows today, and we took what was considered a long time to make a show in our day. We spent 8 days. Nowadays, lots of times they'll spend 10 and 12 days just on an hour show. But if you'll remember, all the great Warner Brothers pictures, Casablanca, and all the pictures that the Key Largo that Humphrey Bogart made, and all of those other pictures at Warner Brothers, Jack Warner said you've got 5 days to make them, or 6 days to make them, because in those days they worked Saturdays. So they had a 6-day week, and they made Casablanca in 6 days. They made Key Largo in 6 days. They made all of those Warner Brothers pictures in 6 days, and they went on to win Academy Awards and be revered for the next 100 years, you know. Yeah. So it's not necessarily the best film that comes out of a long schedule. It's sometimes the best film that comes out of a short schedule. It just depends on how well all of the elements come together, the actors and the writers and the directors and everything that has to work to make the show work. So anyway, that's all the comment I can make on that.
Well, like I said, I do appreciate you opening yourself up to your public and fans. And
well, it's my pleasure, and I'm so grateful that everybody.
I would like, my girlfriend and I wrote to your a television station. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago, because you know, but we asked for your autograph and picture. I don't know why, but we never was able to get it. But we also asked on the question that we sent in was, when you went up into town and you drank, you had that whiskey and your beer. Well,
yeah.
We watched our parents drink beer. When they poured their beer, they never had that thick spoon. What did you guys drink? Because sometimes we would see you at the bar and you would have two drinks at a time. Little whiskey shot glasses.
Well, again, it's like the Universal City Tour. I'll tell you what we drank, but it destroys the illusion. I always ordered Monongahela whiskey, which is named after the river that comes into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Monongahela is Monongahela is a real whiskey. It's a rye whiskey made in a short, squat bottle with a tall brass neck, and it's quite attractive. And I had always seen it, and I drunk a lot of it myself. And I thought that it was an interesting drink for the Virginian to call for. It added to his mystery. What was he doing in Pennsylvania, and how did he learn to drink Monongahela? Right. But what we actually drank was water flavored with Coca-Cola. And depending upon the kind of whiskey you were drinking, you made quite a blend there. The prop man would fill the bottle, and you'd drink that all day long. As far as the beer went, I believe, if I remember rightly, the beer was real, but we never drank that much of it. We just sipped it. You don't want to... Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, because we do remember you ordering that particular whiskey, because you turned down one whiskey and you told the bartender, "No, I want the other that you mentioned."
I want Monongahela. Yeah.
Yes. And we never heard of it before.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey, Diana, thanks so much for calling in this morning. I'm glad you had a chance to meet. Yes, and we're happy that you had a chance to meet with and talk with James Drury. We hope, that invitation's open to all of you this morning here. Toll free, 888-909-1050, 888-909-1050, along with your emails, which you could send us here on VinceDaniels.com. We have some, Pablo.
And speaking of email, we have another one for you, Jim. This one comes from Linda Palmer. She's from Corydon, Iowa. And the message is, how long did Joe D. live? Also, the black appy with a white blanket that he rode on one of the early episodes of the Virginian, was it the same as he rode in The Men from Shiloh? She asked another question you already answered. Why did Gary Clark leave the show? And she also states there was a very strong Christian message in the Virginian, which is one of the reasons I'm watching it now. Does James also have a Christian faith, and does he know if Doug McClure was a Christian?
Well, to start off with, I'm trying to think of how she... That's a lot of questions to ask.
It's true.
What is... let's see.
Go back to the first
she
one.
She asked about how long Joe D. lived and the...
Joe D. lived, I believe, to be 37 years old.
Whoa.
Up at Del Combs Ranch in Mariposa, California, and he was in the tall grass up to his belly and very happy. And I used to go visit him, and he was... would remember me and be ready to, ears would go up and he'd be ready to go to work. Wow. He was a wonderful horse and a wonderful friend. And of course, Del Combs was a wonderful, wonderful man and a wonderful friend. And his son, Gary Combs, was primarily our stunt coordinator on the Virginian. He planned the stunts and did the choreography. And he doubled me and he doubled me, he doubled Gary Clark, he doubled Doug McClure on occasion. And then, he was with the show throughout the whole 9 seasons, as I remember, as was Del Combs. As far as the horse that I rode in an episode of the Virginian being the same horse, I don't believe so. I think that was a different horse. Mm-hmm. It was very, very similar in appearance, but I think it was a different horse. I'm not sure of that, however. Okay. That's a fact I don't have at my fingertips. I'm sorry. And as far as the Christian values of the show, that is something that is in the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. It was certainly not a conscious effort on our part to espouse that, but of course, most of the people in the Old West in that time were very devout Christians and went to church regularly and so forth. I hate to burst your bubble, but I personally do not go to church. However, I am a believer, and I believe Doug McClure was a believer. Mm-hmm. I'm not a churchgoer, but I don't believe you have to be a churchgoer to live by the golden rule, and I try to.
That's the truth.
So that's all I can say about that.
Was Doug a churchgoer?
What's that?
Was Doug a churchgoer?
I don't believe so, not to any great extent. I mean, he may have gone once or twice a year, as sometimes I do, but I don't think either one of us were churchgoers.
Well, I understand what the email. Like you say, some people walk away with that perception because they're looking at the, of course, westerns. Your show was a morality play.
Absolutely, every western that's worth its salt will show the triumph of good over evil, and that creates a great feeling of satisfaction in the audience. They see this happening, and it makes them believe that that's the way the world works. And basically, that is the way the world works if you do it right.